Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of DS Era, and let's just continue, because something is about to happen, something big, I think, because we ended up with a cliffhanger, and I'm really curious how this battle of Ren will continue, so I guess we'll just go without any intro, really, so let's do it. I'm hyped. Let's go. However, Reinhardt smiled. His golden gaze gleamed, not with a scorn towards the defeated warrior, but with the genuine anticipation. Okay. The shade of Mercury answered the same kind of nuance in his laugh. Okay, let's see. Is Mari actually going to help him or not? Because she's not kinda in the same mood as she was last time. But that will make sense that she helped him emanate. Because no one really else can. The girl reached out, the falling young man. Okay, there's Rhea. Rhea continued her prayer from within the crucible of the castle. Moments before Machina's all-ending feast would eradicate both my body and soul, the only thing burning my heart was an adamant refusal to give up. This is basically, like you said in the comments in the previous episode, pretty much the same situation that happened in the previous road. Just before Ren got hit and Mari just basically emanated and stopped the time before he got destroyed. Stuff like this. Well, pretty much the same situation. I didn't want to die. Like hell I could die now. I wouldn't let up until I sent all those assholes to Kingdom Come. Shiro left everything to me. Himuro believed in me. I had no other choice but to win. I had long passed the stage where complaining or giving up was still an option. I hadn't the slightest intention to lose, and to prove it, the rules of my creation treatment were still active, extending this moment to an eternity. I could dodge this. It definitely wasn't impossible for me to evade this punch and continue the fight. Yeah, I guess so. However, what was I supposed to do afterwards? I'd placed everything I had online, and I still stood no chance. I couldn't imagine a way to break through those three. Okay, so he's losing his will to fight, basically. Like, he doesn't seems to have any chance. I wasn't exactly bemoaning my fate, but I needed something to fill me with the new strength. My power was finite, so I couldn't waste it. Unless I figured out a way to end the entire battle with the next counterattack, I probably end up losing, even if I escaped this particular situation in my life. But... oh! Mercury is doing his like weird language shenanigans that nobody knows. Okay. So Mercurius is impacting Ren right now again. His strength. The rage. That was one thing I couldn't possibly choose. If my craving emanated, it would ultimately turn the world into the place worse than hell. Back when I rescued Himuro from the castle, it was that the very fact that pulled me back into the realm of sanity, as my finale teetered on the brink of going berserk. In that moment, I learned everything about the so-called throne, about emanation, about the true identities of Karl Kraft and myself, as well as what would happen if my craving emanated. As such, I couldn't possibly choose that path. Yeah. I mean, we have only option you, Reinhardt, or Mari, basically. So, we need Mari to emanate, like, that's it, like, this is like the whole purpose here. We had like no other options. I would destroy the very reason why I found Reinhardt, or I fought Reinhardt, and end up merely painting over one hell with another. Shiro didn't sacrifice his life or something like that. Himuro didn't master her courage for me to leave this world in ruins. Or maybe he can change his craving, because we know that's possible, right? Like in Sakurai wrote. Like, he suddenly had the craving of, yeah, Reinhardt, your bullshit is not working on me, and he just suddenly could, like, destroy the castle and skeletons and everything. I wonder if like, this is going to happen. Because Mari is kinda, like, out of place. Neither Kasumi nor Honjo, nor the Obsidian Table members that sacrificed themselves wished for anything of that kind. I had to find a way to grant them release. I, as a man who failed to protect everything he held dear, had to at least find a way to save and grant their souls some form of respite. But where could I find such a path? Oh. I guess, like, she's connected with Ren emotionally and stuff, so yeah, it hurts her too. I suddenly heard Mari's voice ring in my ears. Yeah, you remember? Mari is leaving! Yeah, Ren, wake up! What? You did something terrible, what do you mean? We both thought that to be the case. We were both tormented the same guilt, the same tendency to wallow in self-denial. Okay, yeah, that's right, because she's blaming herself for hurting Ren and, like, letting everything happen. Yeah, they basically both are, like, have self-destructive thoughts right now. That was why I cover my ears. Why I didn't want to get her involved. Had I made a mistake by severing my connection with Mari, fearing she would only end up tainted by my foolishness? I couldn't defend the words of eternal stagnation. It was easily worse than any other hell I could imagine. I didn't want her to see it. I didn't want her to know about it. I didn't want Mari to see through me, only to find herself delusioned. I couldn't allow her to be tainted anymore. My Atsilk encompassed the worst nightmare imaginable, a horrific aspiration of the condensed selfishness, an abomination that would change all around into phantasms. I myself wished to become the ephemeral moment, and to achieve that, I would have frozen all life around me to a moving, lifeless picture. I would marvel at it, I would adore it, and the aspiration belongs to the vilest god in existence. It wasn't something I wished for her to see. She was the only one worthy of the throne. Okay, so you're actually going to let her emanate. So you're going to connect with her? Like, how does that exactly will work? Be it Reinhardt, Mercurius or me, all we could birth were damned hellscapes, but built from people's worst nightmares. I mean, Mercurius' throne isn't that bad if you think about this, it's just for knowledge. It doesn't do anything really if you think about that. He's just like Mercurius is just being annoyed by it at this point. He have like enough. That's why like he moved everything into this direction. But like the world itself under like Mercurius is not that bad, I guess. Like foreknowledge doesn't really do anything, right? Like in serious matter, like Reinhardt or Ren. As such, it would have probably been for the best for us. The three catastrophic stooges will disappear from the face of Earth, but... yeah, you cannot disappear because there's Rhea. She could mock me all she wanted, I wished to share my life with her. Yet my finale was far from enough, and unleashing my Atsilov was entirely out of the question. I no longer knew what I had to do to save all those poor souls in the castle. Last time Ren actually emanated his own craving, right? Then clashed with Reinhardt and then Mari emanated. Right? That was the order. Mari didn't emanate at first. Mari emanated later. And Ren gave his position to her, basically. Okay. I could no longer wipe her tears. I felt myself the most despicable man in existence. I certainly lived up to my name as Carlcraft's substitute. Even though I'd admitted that, why did she still... Okay. Yeah? Why did she still insist on reaching out towards me? Okay, so we are going to have emanation of Mari first. This time around, it seems. This is going to be interesting. Because Ren was fighting against Reinhardt with his emanation. How emanation of Mari have combat capabilities? I don't think it does, right? Huh? I saw how you cried and suffered. I heard how you condemned yourself in the trembling voice. I wasn't the only one whose emotions leaked through the rift. Her feelings were like an open book to me. There was no need for her to force herself or try to act so composed. Who was she trying to fool? Who was to blame for this? The fool ignoring her all this time had finally removed his earplugs. That was why she put on such a desperate act. An amazing display of tenacity for sure. And her acting was quite something too. But it just wasn't working. She had yet to learn how to read the mood. And the thought of it made my heart sink like never before. Yeah, we know. And we saw it happen. Kind and resolute on the surface, but crying on the inside. Everyone I allowed to slip through my fingers. And the last person I swore never to let go. Himuro was right. I understood that more than I would have liked to. Shiro hit me like a billion times, retelling the same thing. And now, through Mari, I could tell how painful it felt for the person on the other end. They both act as mirrors for me. Shiro gave his life to provide me with a way into Valhalla. I couldn't allow myself to fail here. I knew that better than anyone, and yet... Okay. Did she not see who I was? Did she truly wish to tarnish herself with my craving? She told me she wanted to embrace me, but... So yeah, even if you stop the time, I want to envelop it. All and everything. Mari promised to reclaim all that I allowed to slip through my grasp, and with that I finally realized that similarity to how the information flowed to me through my connection with the throne, it reached Mari as well through her connection with me. She had probably learned everything. When Mercury found himself captivated by our brawl to such an extent that his gaze completely left her side. Yep, we remember the scene. Mari got pretty annoyed by that. Her eyes opened to the truth. She was hurt by it and ultimately made this decision. In order to guide our actions, to provide a solution, she willingly accepted a cruel, thankless role. Her soul had told me everything. I could understand it without words. In that case, how was I supposed to answer her? Merely doing one's best wasn't going to be enough. What thought flashed through my mind when I was told to flee and stay safe? Sadness, frustration, misery? He felt as if his entire existence had been declared to be of no great importance in the grand scheme of things. All I wanted was for my loved ones to smile. I didn't want their expression to cloud over because of me. I wished for Mari to smile. I wished to live with Rahimuro. Okay. How will you emanate? Is it going to be the same as in Mari Road? Or something else will change? You don't want to stop everything. I mean, you kinda have to. I mean, you just have to power up to be able to fight Reinhardt. It not necessarily have to be the stopping time. We just, like, some kind of, like, different craving, if you can actually do this. And we know this is possible since Sakurai Road. Let's see. My heart cried out with pure earnest intentions, hoping for this tragedy to never be repeated. Reality had no place for phantasms. We could ever only be men. We shouldn't have aspired to be more than that. To remain a firm moment, to protect and cherish its brilliance.
手を伸ばす勇気をくれ。
だったら
Okay. Her voice was gentle like mother's. I felt myself in the goddess embrace.
俺たちは二度と負けない。
I could now believe in that with the entirety of my heart and soul. Okay. Mari. Okay. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Holy shit. And at that moment, the ultimate form of the transcendence, the apotheosis of all thought and emotion, swept across the entire cosmos. Okay. Okay. Also, wait, hold on a second. He's supposed to be hegemony right now. He did... And now we have ultimate form of transcendence? What?
バカな。
Okay. So this is the CG we had before. There's like animal faces or something around Mari there, right? Or something. A scene too absurd to be believed unfold right before our own eyes. The young man had received the full burn of the somber night, all-ending attack, the creation figment of Deus Ex Machina, yet he refused to go down. And on top of that, her arms, legs and fingers grew rigid, consumed by the stagnation of time. Little by little, she found herself unable to move. Okay, yep, so we're still craving for stopping time. The Battalion of Three shrugged off the finale with with ease mere moments before. Yet now, even they stood night prowless before its terrible shackles. Cold and ruthless, like ice, yet warm like passionate embrace, the tale of transcendence sent the legion of millions to the gallows. Huh. This is actually, I didn't thought actually about this. Because they now mentioned that they got embraced by this passionate embrace. I didn't thought about this. It's like Ren wishing to stop time and Mari is the one who's like targeting in specific. So his craving is just like, yeah, I just want to stop in general everything, and Mari is like, yep, okay, I will just focus your firepower on like these guys. Embracing them with like his craving basically. I didn't thought about that this kind of combination. Am I right?
お前たちは逃げたんだ。
And the guillotine in question was wielded by the princess and her inerrant executioner. The decree would not allow for a single phantasm to stay.
耐えられなかったんだろう。
They couldn't find it in themselves to live as ephemeral moments, as mere flashes of light doomed to fade, like the rest of mankind. Whenever or not it happened through their own wishes, they all became phantasms shackled to everlasting death, choosing then to sever those very chains. To offer one final requiem to those forever trapped in their graves.
俺たちは永遠になれない。幻想になったお前たちは。
Okay.
結局今でも何をしてもその手に掴むことができないんだ。
We cannot be eternal. Interesting, though your craving wants everything to be eternal. Huh. The Ashen Knight was the first to react to the decreed sentence. Yeah, he lost it. And sanity birthed through the antinomious fusion of death and the maiden. His madness would not acknowledge the decrees of anyone but the gold. He tore off his own frozen limbs, turning into whirlwind of fangs. Okay, Schreiber is insane. Okay. He just decided, oh, I cannot move hands. Fuck that. His body refused to regenerate. His limbs remained missing, and above all else. Ah. The source of his obsession, the legion dwelling within his right eye, remained completely silent. He finally seems to have run out of fuel. Yeah. I mean, if they cannot move, and they cannot support your like life force and stuff, so yeah. And without it, Anna Schreiber was but a brittle maiden. Only one question swirled in his broken mind as the big guillotine blade went for his neck. Why? Why did it all happen with such convenient timing? Did he make a mistake somewhere? He'd endured base roses, he'd endured Samuel Cannon. Nibelheim should have been without boundaries. He should have been able to soar faster than anyone for all eternity. Why did everything fall apart in this moment? What could have been the cause of it? As his thoughts in their madness harvested back to the past, he suddenly found himself staring into the reason behind it all. Which is? Oh, Trifa, yeah. Okay. Trifa been real MVP in this like road. What a chad. We needed 4 roads for him to succeed in something. If only he hadn't met that Meander, he wouldn't have remained. He would have remained an indomitable Einherjar. The blade of execution claimed his head. The gale at the left during its journey through the air felt oddly warm, as if trying to gently envelop him. Embrace me, okay. Wolkenschreiber head, severed from its neck, danced in the sky the very moment he realized his true craving for the first time in his life. Honor howled at the top of her lungs, focusing all her will upon the space before her. So what if stagnation shackled her limbs? Rage blinded her to it. A most deplorable falsehood. Worse she deemed utterly unforgivable. The fire burning in her chest was neither fantasy nor illusion. Wow. That's a... That's a straightforward hit. It was he who clothed himself in illusions. He who lived in his life like a shadow. And so it was none other than his puppet that seems closest to the brittle unreality of dream. Indeed, a phantasm through and through. As such, she firmly refused to acknowledge his words. She would not allow anyone to deny the purity of the flame she pledged the impregnable gold. She simply couldn't. The conflagration of Muspelheim condensed and fell upon the executioner like the colossal blade. A cannonball she channeled all her knightly pride, her very soul into. No one could evade, no one could withstand it. However, it froze to a limp of ice and fell completely harmless before reaching her foe. The sight conveyed the terrible truth that Leonor Plea had been paled in comparison to Ren's. Impossible, inconceivable. She rejected the notion, with her entire being fixed her eyes on the impending blade of execution, with seething indignation. But the moment the boy's freezing stagnation reached up her neck, a memory rushed through her troubled mind. Okay? The sensation of biting numbness on her left cheek. Oh! The scar! Oh no, not the scar. The hit from Lisa. Oh wow. Yeah, okay. So wait, so all of them actually made some kind of damage, like emotional damage to all the commanders. Like, Trifa obviously made a damage to Schreiber, making him weaker in a sense. Lisa put the damage on Samuel, making him vulnerable in some manners. So does it mean that Rusauka actually managed to do something to Makina? Are we going to see Rusauka flashback when we're going to strike down Makina? A complete blunder, the most disgraceful fight of her life. How she could have failed to dodge that sorry excuse for an attack baffling Eleanor still. Regardless of what others claimed, Fealty would forever remain Fealty, much like flames would remain flames. However, never before in her life had Eleanor experienced the humiliation of being unable to rebuke an accusation. That uncertainty left an irreparable wound on her soul. The anxiety that it could happen again infected her mind, and that very anguish proved to be the agent of her second disgrace. There was nothing else that could have caused it. That accursed Brenner had certainly outdone herself this time. An outcome so infuriating, Eleanor could not help wishing to have under fight with the shameless Nun. She would be more than tired of their incessant clashes, yet their bickering was likely there to stay for as long as either of them still drew breath. Okay, second one. Eleanor von Wittenberg, severed head danced in the air with the wisp of the smoke escaping through the slits and through his smile. Only one remained. However, two utterly bewildering phenomena occurred. There's Makina. Makina moved. The moment Ren entered his effective range, a piece of self-destruction was launched at him with nary a hint of deceleration. Makes sense, I guess, right? Because Makina's whole, like, craving is to just, like, destroy and, like, delete basically everything, so, like, ultimate death. So you cannot really stop Makina in time, right? You can stop his craving, I would say, because he stopped himself from being destroyed. But you cannot really affect him with your craving as well, because he's like constantly destroying it around him. He's like in the bubble, I would say. So his fists are not really that, like, no longer are that deadly for Ren, because Ren can basically stop whatever damage he will take. But he cannot stop Makina as well, I think. The decree that bound both the Crimson Knight and the Ashen Knight had no effect on the Somber Knight whatsoever. But at the same time, Ren also sealed his fists. Yep, see? That's what I said. Exactly. In short, they were now equally in danger. The souls of the two could not escape their mutual bond of parity. Makina uttered not a single word. He realized everything without needing to point it out, understanding that this would end up being their final clash. He cared little about his ultimate attack being shrugged off. That outcome might have seemed an utter impossibility to anyone of sane mind, and yet for some reason he felt that this was how things were meant to transpire. He could not contain a self-derisive smile. He declared his battles to be the final crusade numerous times now. And each time, it was as if his adversary had been telling him of the casual relationship of the two. It should have been impossible, but it was not beyond imagination. The information flowing to him, the young man caused Makina to be overcome by a premonition of sorts, and he would convey it all back to him with his fists. Yeah, talking with fists again, just like with Shiro. It's basically the same soul talking to each other. They can communicate pretty well, I would say. Makina wondered, did the other, his former brother-in-arms, remember? In a different time, he apparently told him something definitive. Oh right, Ren is not aware of his origin in this road, right? I mean, we had the flashback of, like, Ren before and Rusauka, but that was Rusauka point of view. So Ren doesn't really know that he's like part of Machina in this road, right? I think he learned that in the previous one, but not in this one. And its result seems to be bearing fruit right in front of his eyes. A notion worthy to be called mad and delusion, yet he felt it to be true. And it would pave the ways towards a conclusion both fitting and final for both of them. A certain kind of conviction lit up Machina's withered heart. He felt with absolute certainty that the true end was nigh. Therefore, he retained his unwavering composure despite the advent of the second aberration. Yeah, this is part of Rusauka CG, right? A sea of shadows exploded beneath Ren's feet. Wait. How? What? Sea of Shadows exploded beneath Ren's feet. It was another embodiment of stagnation, Rusauka Schwager's most powerful technique. How do you have this? What? The two occurrences surprised only Ren. With Machina faltering not an inch. And yet... What just happened? It was Machina's severed head that shot into the air. He had once shattered her Natsurer with ease, yet in the midst of the final exchange between evenly matched opponents, even the millisecond delay would translate to a certain death. Ragnar Bear to control other Ragnar Bear. It was the final display of prideful stubbornness from the witch, his soul had been crushed by the certain someone to open the sixth swastika. So... somehow... Rusauka's soul is still aware and managed to help. What just happened? Okay, I don't get how this could happen. She got swallowed by the castle. Ragnar Bear being destroyed by Machina, right? How can this still happen? Ren doesn't have her Ragnar Bear inside. He cannot command it. Because like there's nothing to command because it's destroyed. I'm confused. Machina remains silent. Yet the features of his severed head eternally froze into a mask of triumph. In a split second, Ren stopped to ponder. Ah, so you have. Or rather, you two have. Oh! 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 Save! And this is like, you told me when I was like thinking that the previous choice was to like determine the ending, you tell me in the comments that the next one is actually to determine the ending. So... for now, without looking at like which one is going to which ending, because you told me I'm supposed to get like ending 1 and then ending 2 or something. So yeah, so about the Machina. You also saw the truth. You also danced to the mercurial tone. I would choose dance to the mercurial tone because Machina didn't really search for the truth or something, you know? He kinda knew the truth from the beginning, right? He knew that Ren is his part and stuff like this. It's Ren who tried to find the truth, so it's not like you also, because he said you also, yeah? You two have, yeah. And dancing the mercurial tone makes more sense to me right now, because they both been puppets to Mercurius, basically. Like, Ren understands that me and you, we both, you two, being created from the same soul, basically. I think that's the meaning of this. So I would choose the dance to Mercurian tone. Okay, let me check. what you said to me on Discord. 1 second, I will cut here. I need to find this. So my thought process actually made me a good choice. So I'm supposed to click dance to Mercurial tune, basically, and this should give me the ending 1, and then we go back to this and get the other one. So let's do it. So I don't need the walkthroughs. See, I can get the proper ending with the reasoning alone. No, but seriously, if like there's like something really important like that, then just like let me know. But like, I'm not usually doing this. This is just for this irae in specific. I'm not doing any walkthrough, playthrough tips from anyone for example rewrite, because this is way more complicated. There's more to more roads, and yeah, but it's just, yeah, the irae is just special. Dance the Mercurial tone, let's go. You two dance the Mercurial tone. And neither the transcendent Mercury spectating the final act as it unfolded, nor the golden harbinger standing atop the magic circle, stretching across the canvas of the far heavens, could refrain from expressing their joy. The souls of the Crimson Rubedo and the Muddled Albedo, defeated in the very same moment, joined with the Iron Nigredo to return into Reinhardt's breast, coiling back into his ever-swelling legion, fearless in prowess across all the cosmos. Okay, where are you going? Why leaving? You want to die, don't you? Oh, he's going probably to this other plane already. He's going to wait for them to fall into the singularity hole or whatever that was. Yeah, okay, makes sense. I will just wait for you. Although not even he could tell where that might be. Seeing his sworn friend off with a meager glance, Reinhardt once again shifted his gaze downwards. There were countless things he would have wished to discuss, but for now he would focus his attention on the finale of this opera and the conclusion it would impart upon them. The gift of the unknown. His heart danced with excitement. A certain man once told him that he was not releasing his full potential. Those words were indistinguishable from the delusion of the young man, intoxicated with the feeling of omnipotence, but he was exactly that, a being that didn't belong in this world. Nothing he beheld would move him. His heart was a stranger to true liberty, the thrill of victory. Never had he felt satisfaction as the man did when the great obstacle crumbled beneath their feet. Yeah, because the foreknowledge, like I said, like foreknowledge is not that bad. It's just like Mercurius is just like fed of it in like this like hundreds of years or thousands. He would make that logic of his universal, and so the world would behold the true power of the monarch of destruction. He would ravage, absorb and paint the cosmos anew in his color. The world fit for him would be born in its wake, bursting forth in a torrent as it emanated, washing away in all the woes that once was. And thus, in this very moment, he had to identify the one who would receive the very essence of his being in mortal battle. For becoming what they were, his opponents were truly worthy of his love. And so he could finally utter the question that tormented him for eons. How could he topple this accursed foreknowledge, incessantly swirling within his breast? Yeah. Let's fall into the hole and fight. Returned his adversary fierce glance. and thus began their finale, grounded on any struggle fought before, an exquisite clash to end it all. That was the name of his, like, Atsilov? Or is it something else? What is it? He had long since yearned for this moment, enduring the ever-present torment of that wretched ghetto. That would be the final battle in its truest sense, leading us to the general conclusion. Would be? What do you mean? It didn't happen? To grant all our wishes, to make sure history never repeats itself again.
ラインハルト、返してもらうぞ。俺たちのすべて。
Okay. There we have it. The clash again.